These are the steps that you need to follow to get your Airbnb property booked 100% of the times. Now look, if you get value from this video, make sure you're hitting that like button, but without further ado, let's get into it. Now look, the biggest concern that people have when it comes to actually getting started off in an Airbnb business is them being able to have their properties booked off for enough days. And this is especially true if you're doing the rent to rent model where you're renting properties from a landlord and then you're reletting the property out on Airbnb and booking.com. Because if you're not renting it out for enough nights, then you're still going to need to pay the landlord's rent, the bills, and obviously you may be in a loss if you're not covering a certain amount of nights. But we do not need to worry about that because I'm going to share with you some tips, some strategies that will allow you to minimize the risk of that actually taking place. And for what it's worth as well, I've personally never been in a position to where I had to dip into my own pockets to cover the rent and the bills because I wasn't getting enough bookings. So the first thing that you want to do to get your Airbnb booked up for 100% of the times is by making sure you're actually getting it in the right location. This is extremely important. You want to make sure that whatever location that you're actually taking that property in has high enough demand for you to be able to actually get people in there on a continuous basis. So you want to make sure that you're analyzing demand in that specific area. Yes, you can use a tool called AirDNA, which will help you actually analyze a certain area. It will tell you what the average occupancy is and also how much you could be charging on average per night as well. But you also want to be doing a lot more than this as well because AirDNA doesn't actually give you the full picture. So you want to actually look at what brings people to that area, whether this is attractions, whether this is things like theme parks, stadiums, arenas, or whatever the case may be. Maybe there's a lot of big business happening there, whether it's logistics centers, corporate companies, maybe there's a lot of construction work taking place. And as a result, a lot of these people are coming to that specific area and are needing to book Airbnbs and service accommodation properties. And look, a simple way that you can actually find out this information that I just shared with you right now is by going on Google and just Googling the things that I just mentioned. And then you'll be able to find out a lot of that information, maybe not all of it, but a lot of it. But the main point is that we want to be taking a look at different data points when we're analyzing demand. So AirDNA, the analytics tools, is just one data point. But then you also have the data point of the different attractions in that area. You have the data point of the different businesses, the construction work taking place. And these are all different data points that you can collect, and also making sure that you're looking at the hotels in that area as well. This is very important because the more hotels there are in a certain area, the higher the demand is in those hotels when it comes to people wanting to book Airbnbs and service accommodation properties as well. Because why would hotels be there if there's no demand or if there's very low demand as well? And you got to think, these companies, especially the bigger chains, they're spending hundreds of thousands, if not millions of pounds setting up shop there, doing the research, and they're not going to do that if they're not confident that they couldn't make it work in that specific area as well. And you got to think about it like this. You are in the same game as the hotel games. We're all in the hospitality industry and we're all looking to cater and accommodate guests on a night by night or on a short-term basis as well. So if hotels are in the area, you can just piggyback off that. And of course, you can leverage that to set up shop and take on Airbnbs and service accommodation properties in those specific areas as well. Another very important thing that you want to make sure you have in place for your Airbnb property to allow you to maximize the bookings that you receive is by making sure that you're offering the correct amenities. And what amenities means are certain features that come with the property itself. For example, the most popular amenity when it comes to people booking Airbnb properties is parking. And this is actually a search term that a lot of people search for when it comes to them wanting to book Airbnbs and service accommodation. A lot of people are only looking for properties with parking. So if you're offering that, then you're going to attract a lot more people to want to book your property. Now look, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you absolutely need to have parking for your place, because I've had loads of places that haven't had parking and they've still done very, very well. But at the same time, these were places that were located in central locations. So if you're getting a property that's located in city center, town center, close to a train station, or close to a lot of attractions and a lot of different things, then a lot of the times it wouldn't necessarily have to have parking. But if you're getting a property that's 20, 30 minutes away from the town center, city center, there's not really a train station or any transportation links nearby, and you don't have parking, then yes, you may struggle to get people to book those properties. But you want to make sure that you understand who the target market is that you're looking to target. For example, if you're looking to target mainly families because you've identified that the demand for families in that area is very high, then in that scenario, you're absolutely going to need parking, because families, they're traveling by car. If it's a wife, husband, kids, or whatever the case may be, it's highly unlikely that these people are going to be walking, especially in places that are, extremely out of the way. So parking for families is extremely important when it comes to them actually booking an Airbnb properties. It's the same thing with contractors as well, or people actually working in these different construction sites as well. A lot of the times, or most of the times, they're driving as well. If you don't have parking available for your Airbnb property, then the likelihood of you attracting these people will be a lot less, which will basically mean that less people would want to book your Airbnb/service accommodation property. So parking is just one example example of a very important amenity that you want to have for your Airbnb. There's loads as well. And what you can do, you can actually go onto the area that you're looking to do your research when it comes to taking on an Airbnb property, and you can see what the most popular amenities are on those areas. And then of course you can use that to your advantage and provide the same amenities that are the top ones in that specific area. And you know, these could be things like coffee machines in certain areas. It could be a hot tub or a jacuzzi and just different things of that nature. But the most important ones are parking and also Wi-Fi as well. But Wi-Fi is a pretty obvious one. Another very good way that you can make sure that you're maximizing the bookings that you're receiving from your Airbnb property is by making sure that you're collecting as many good reviews as possible. I've said this before, I'll say it again, building up on good reviews is going to be the heartbeat of your service accommodation / Airbnb business. If you're building up more good reviews, then more people are going to want to book your property. Because think about it, if we want to buy anything these days, what do? We go on Google or whatever and we're checking a review on certain things. And if there's loads of good reviews, then we'll probably buy it. But if it's loads of shit reviews, then we're most likely not going to be buying it. And it's the same thing when it comes to people actually booking Airbnbs and service accommodation properties. If they're seeing two of the same types of properties, one is more expensive, but it's got 100 good reviews, and one is cheaper, it looks pretty much the same, but it's got 100 bad reviews, or whatever the case may be, or even 50 good reviews and 50 bad reviews, then the likelihood of that person going for the first one is a lot higher. So you definitely want to make sure that you're tipping the odds in your favor and treat that with the utmost importance. And of course, this comes with you providing a high quality service to your guests, making sure that you're checking in with them, making sure that maybe you're leaving them with welcome packs when they're arriving at the property. This could be biscuits, cookies, chocolates, treats, or even just a card, a welcome card. And sometimes guests may make certain requests. Maybe they're coming there for someone's birthday or it's an anniversary, special occasion, and you can do something to maybe accommodate for that and just show them how much you appreciate their business. That will go an extremely long way for them actually making sure that they leave you a good review once they leave. On top of that as well, you want to make sure that you have some fire pictures for your Airbnb property, because look, if you don't, then you're going to decrease the chances of people actually being inclined to book your property. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you absolutely need to have fire pictures to get bookings for your properties. No, you don't, because I've seen properties out there that have mediocre pictures, or let's be real, pretty shit pictures that still have people booking their properties. But at the same time, it's about how can you get that edge over the competition? How can you be doing a lot more than the competition to allow you to tip the odds in your favor when it comes to someone searching for a property in your area and choosing to book your property rather than the competition's property in that same area? And this is a very, very good way for you to actually do that. Make sure that you have professional photos taken of your property. This includes hiring a professional photographer, and yes, it includes spending some money as well. Make sure you don't take pictures on your phone. Definitely wouldn't recommend you actually taking pictures on your phone. Please don't do that. And also, going back to building up good reviews for your Airbnb as well, a really good way that you can build up a lot of good reviews very, very quickly is by when you first take on your Airbnb property, you can offer one night stays. Now look, usually I wouldn't recommend people making their minimum stay for one night. And the reason for this is because first and foremost, the turnover costs are a lot higher because cleaners will have to go there every single day. And obviously that's going to be more cost on your part that you're going to have to bear. Not only that as well, you're going to have to be dealing with a lot more people as well, which means a lot more work on your part, a lot more checking in with guests, and a lot more, having a back and forth with them as well. But not only that, let's be real, you're going to increase the likelihood of people coming in there and throwing parties or whatever the case may be. But the reason why I recommend this from the start is because you will have a lot more people coming to book your property. Thus, you're going to be able to collect a lot more good reviews as well. Think about it like this. Most people have their minimum nightly stay for 2 or 3 nights, which is fine. But if you start that from the very start, then let's say, I don't know, 50% of them actually leave you a good review. That means you're probably going to be getting 15 guests booking your property. And if only 50% of them actually leave a good review, then that's only 7.5 good reviews. Whereas if we're using that exact same maths, for 30 people booking your property, half of that is 15, and you've got double the amount of good reviews as well. So it's not a must, but this is what I would personally do to build up as many good reviews as possible within a short space of time. Afterwards, then I would increase the minimum nightly stay to 2 nights, 3 nights, maybe even longer. And also another thing that you want to do to make sure that you're maximizing the bookings that you get from your Airbnb property is by listing your Airbnb property on certain websites. Now, Airbnb and Booking.com are obvious ones as well, but you can list it on certain corporate websites that mainly focus on attracting people that are traveling to that area for work trips and business as well. And these corporate booking websites are websites such as Silverdoor. They're a very good one. You can go about checking them out as well and potentially listing your property on there. Situ is another one as well. Again, it mainly focuses on people that are traveling to that area for work trips and business. That's another good one as well. And even just listing your property on OpenRent, for example. OpenRent can be a very good way for you to go about attracting more longer term bookings, even though it's not necessarily meant for that. It's meant for people looking to rent properties on a long term basis, but you can be listing your property on there and allowing people to rent rent your property for a minimum of 1 month. Google listing, that's also another very good way for you to go about attracting a lot more longer term bookings for your property as well. And thus it will just increase the likelihood of you actually attracting those types of bookings. So these are just some of the things that you can do to go about making sure that you're maximizing the bookings that you receive from your Airbnb property. Now, look, if you've taken value from this video, I'd really appreciate if you hit that like button. Also, if you're looking to learn more about Airbnb, service accommodation, rent to rents, this is the channel to be at. So make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. And by the way, if you're looking to learn more about how you can also get started off with this as well, I've actually got a free masterclass that you can check out as well. It's actually in the description box if you check it out below. But without further ado, I'll let you go. I'll let you do your thing. Thank you for taking the time to tune in. I'm gonna catch you in the next video.